Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to EnggAdda. So today I am going to cover the topic what is unit testing, how we can perform the unit testing in our Spring Boot application. So I am going to use the tools JUnit and Mockito. So with the help of JUnit and Mockito, I am going to cover this topic and I will tell you how you can perform your unit testing in the Spring Boot application. So let me go to the next slide and then tell you what is unit testing. So first of all, we need to see what is testing. So testing is the process of checking the functionality of an application to ensure it runs as per the requirement. So whatever requirement the client or the customer have, so according to that, we need to develop our project. So the testing is nothing but it is a process of checking the functionality what we have developed. Okay. So coming to the unit testing comes into the picture at the developers level. It is the testing of single entity, class or method. So when we are going to test our class or the method, that is called as unit testing. So in this example, I'm going to show you how you can cover the class and the method in the form of unit testing. Okay. So unit testing plays a critical role in helping a software company deliver quality products to its customer. Okay, so it helps in maintaining the quality of the code. What is JUnit? So JUnit is a unit testing framework for Java programming languages. It plays a crucial role in test-driven development, and it is a family of unit testing framework collectively known as XUnit. So it is a framework, open source framework, which we are going to use in our Spring Boot application to do the unit testing. So JUnit promotes the idea of first test then coding. So it promotes the feature of testing, like whatever code we are going to develop, we need to test it out. So it promotes that code less and test a little and code a little. So that is what its promo is, and it also increases the productivity of a programmer and the stability of program code, which in turns reduces the stress on the programmer and the time spent on debugging. So when you are going to write the code and when you are going to write the test cases for that, then it help you in debugging the things. It will help to reduce the stress on the developer. So let me go to the next slide. So what is mocking? Mocking is a way to test the functionality of a class in isolation. So the mocking is nothing but it's a way of testing our functionality of the classes. So what in mocking what we do, we try to provide the dummy data. We are not going to use the data from the database, or we are not going to use the dependency that we have already added. We try to mock it out. So that is what called mocking. So mocking does not require a database connection or the properties file read or the file server read to test a functionality. So we with the help of Mockito, we are going to mock those datas, and then we are going to use those dummy datas for our functionality check, for our functionality test. So that is what mocking is. So let me go to the IntelliJ and then try to create a CRUD operations project, and then after that what I will do, I will try to create the unit test for all the methods at the service level. So let me go there. So you can see I have opened the IntelliJ. I have created this unit test case as a CRUD project. So this is a simple Spring Boot CRUD project I have created. And if you don't know how you can create the Spring Boot CRUD project, you can watch the videos on my YouTube channel. So if you want, I can provide the link in the description. So from there you can watch it out. So this is a simple CRUD project that I have created. I have created this student entity, and these are the fields in the student entity. I have created the repository here, and we in the service class we have the student service interface. We have couple of methods here, and inside the implementation class we have the implementation of all those methods there. Okay, so let me go to the controller and show you what all the APIs that I have created. So I have created the insert, get, find, update, delete. So every API I have created here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to show you if some APIs are working or not. So let me try to run this application and then try to hit the git mappings here. So before going there, let me try to show you the application.properties configuration. So I am using the MySQL as a database, provided the URL, username and password. These are some configuration to show the queries, and this is the port number on which our application will be up. So let me try to run this application. So let it up and then we'll try to hit the git mappings. So let me go to the student controller. Okay, let me go to the student controller. So it is building, and then once it is built, it will start our application. So you can see it is starting. Okay, so it is started application on port number 9190. I'm going to hit this API. So first of all, I'm going to hit this API to show you what all the records are there in the database. So let me go to the browser. Port number is 9190 and then API and then find all. I have couple of records, so you can see I have these three records there into the database. Okay, so the find all API is working fine. Let me try to hit the get API. Let me provide the ID. So you can see the get API is also working fine. So let me go to the IntelliJ. So the APIs are working fine. I'm not going to test the insert, update and delete one. I'm directly going to the test classes and then try to create some test methods. So let me come here. So inside the test folder, you can see this unit test case application test class. So we are going to create our test class test methods here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create the unit test case for all the student service IMPL method that we have created, and I'm going to mock the student repository. Okay, so you can see we are using the student repository here, and we are calling up the methods, and we are directly interacting with the database, right? But in our test classes, we are not going to use the database, so we are going to mock all the objects there. So that is why I'm telling you that I'm going to mock the student repository. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the unit test case methods for all the methods inside the student service IMPL, and we are mocking out the student repository there into the test class. So let me go to the test class and let me try to create one method here. So let's say I'm going to create the test method for the insert student service insert student method. Okay, so let me come here, let me copy this, let me paste it out here. Okay, let me try to create the method name. Let's say it's public void and insert student test. Okay, so this is the method. Let me go there and then show you what we are doing inside it. So we are simply passing the student reference and then saving out using the save method of the student repository, which is the JPA provided method. Okay, so we are saving this data into the database, but in the unit test we are not going to use the database, so we are going to mock it out. So for that, let me try to create a dummy student object here. So let's say it's student, scale to new student, and let me provide the ID is 101. Let's say name is Ram. Okay, and let's say father name is Rajan. Okay, let's say the address is Delhi, and age is 24. Okay, this is the dummy data that we have created. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to mock it out. So for that I'm going to use the when method of the Mockito. So let's say when, let me try to, so we are going to use we are going to mock this student object. So for that we need to mock our student repository here in this class. So let me try to do that. So let's say it's a mock bin and private student repository, and let me try to use this dot save, and we are saving the dummy data here and then simply returning the same data dot. Then let me try to import this. So you can see we are importing the Mockito when, and then return the same student object. So we are mocking it out. We have created one dummy data, we are mocking it and then returning it. Now what I'm going to use, I'm going to use the assert equals method of the JUnit to compare the values. So let's say the student that we have created is Ram and its name of the student is Ram. Okay, and we need to compare the same name. Okay, so if the name is matching, then the return type should be true. So let me try to show you what I'm telling. So let me try to use the assert method, assert equal. Okay, let me try to pass the parameter. So we are passing the name as Ram and it should match the same name what we are inserting. So let me try to auto where the service here. So let's say auto where private student service, because we are going to unit test the methods of the student service IMPL. That is why we are using the, that is why we are auto wiring the student service here. So let me try to copy this. So let me try to use the method insert and then pass the object here. Let me try to close this student and then get name. So we are whatever student that we are inserting here, we are fetching out the name of that student. Okay, and then we are comparing that with the this string. What we are doing here, we are just inserting the student record that we have created, the student dummy data that we have created, and the name of that is Ram and it should match with the string called now Ram. So if it is matching, then we are good. Okay, so let me try to provide here, let me try to import this, and we are using this assert equals of JUnit. Okay, now let me try to debug this to show you how it is working. So it is this is the dummy data and this is going to the student service. So let me go to the student service and insert, and then let me go to the IMPL here. So whatever data we are mocking into the test method, it is coming here. It is not picking up the data from the database. So let me come here. Let me try to debug this. It is taking few seconds. Okay, so you can see our student object has this parameters. Okay, now let me try to go next, and you can see we are there inside the student service IMPL class and inside the is insert student method, and here you can see whatever data we are mocking inside the test methods, it is coming coming up here into the student service IMPL methods, and then we are comparing it with the string name, and if it is matching, then we are good now. So let me try to go next. So you can see our unit test case is passed now. So we are able to test out the method inside the student service IMPL, which is a insert student, and it is working fine. And we are not using the database in this case. We are just simply mocking it out. So this is what JUnit and Mockito is together doing. So it is just testing out the functionality of your application. So it is working fine. Now let me try to show you one another thing. So you can also see the coverages. Line of code the JUnit is covering. So let me try to run it in the coverage mode. So let it up. So you can see these lines here, right? So you let me go to the student service IMPL. You can see we are covering this line. So that is why it is coming as green here. If it is not covered, then it is coming like red. So we are covering the line here. And let me go to the entity class and let me show you. So you can see we are using the all argument and no argument constructor here inside the we are using this all argument constructor here inside our test methods because we are creating one student object. So that is why it is also covering that line. And let me go to the student, and we are using this name. That is why it is also covered. It is coming as a green. So whatever line of code you are using in the test method, it will cover up. So this is how it is looking. If you have covered all the methods inside a class, then the uh, code coverage will be 100%. Okay, so that is what JUnit and Mockito need to do. It should cover the code so that the quality of the code will be increased. So let me go to the test class. Let me try to create the method for the other methods. So copy this test method, paste it out. So let me try to create the test method for the get. So come here and let me try to create this one. So get student by ID test method. So let me try to paste it out and then test. So we are going to cover this method now. So what this method is doing, it's simply finding out the data from the database, right, and returning it out. So let me go there and see. So it is simply finding out the data from the database based upon the ID and then simply returning it out. So let me try to see. You can see we have created this method, sorry, this student object. And what we are going to do, we are just going to call the find by ID, provide the ID here, let's say 101, then return this student object. Okay, and then let me try to do the comparison here. So let's say the count should be 1, right? So, or we can also compare the father name here. So we have created one dummy data. We are using this find by ID. We are mocking it out. So whatever data we have created, we are just simply returning the same data, and then with the assert equals, we are going to compare some attribute of it. So let's say, let me try to use the student by ID, get student by ID method. Provide here the, either you can pass this get ID. Okay, and then let me try to get the ID here. Okay, so we are passing out the ID. We are just calling this get student by ID method to cover this in the test case, and then we are getting out the ID from it, and we are just going to compare the ID. So the ID should be 101, right? So let me try to see why it is giving error. Wrap this to the optional. Let me try to, this is the integer, right? So let me try to wrap it in the integer value as value of And let me compare this out. So if you want to debug, you can debug it out. Let me try to rerun. I will explain you what we are doing now. So let's say, so this is pass. So what we are doing, we have created one dummy data. We are returning that dummy data whenever we are finding out the object. Whenever we are finding out the student with the ID 101, then simply returning the student record, and then with the help of assert equals, we are just comparing it out. So we are compare what we are doing, we are just getting out the ID from the student record that we have inserted, okay, and then if it is 101, then that means we are good. So let me also try to show you the code coverages for this. Okay, so for that I think we need to run it in the code coverage mode. So let me try to run and then show you how it is increasing the code coverage for this class. So till now it is 15% I think, and you can see now it is increased to 30%. So let me go there and you can see this is covered now. So this is how we need to write the unit test cases. So let me try to create the unit test case for the others. So what other methods are there? So it is get all student. Let me try to do that. So come here. So for the get all, we need to create a list of student, right? Because it is returning the list of student. So let me try to do that here. List student list, okay, and then we are simply using the stream of, okay, and then passing out the objects here. So let me try to copy this and paste it out here. Let me try to change the ID name Rahul. Let's say everything is same, okay, and then these are the two, and then let me try to collect it out, okay. Let me try to import the list here. So we are good now. So we have created one dummy data which is list and it is having two student object. Now let me try to, okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the method find all to mock it. So find all, let me try to remove this and then return the student list, right? So let me try to remove this, okay. And then we are just going to compare the count. So student list has have the two records there, so the count should be 2. So let me try to compare it. So here what we are going to do, we are just going to create get all student method, and then we need not to pass anything. Let me try to see the size of that, and get all student, let me try to change it, get all student, okay. Let me try to run this, okay. It should pass. So yeah, it is passing. So it is we are calling the get all student method, and then we are finding out the size of it, and if the size is equal to 2, then it should return 2. So that is how it is working. If you want to run it into the code coverage mode so that you can see the coverage of this class will be increased, let me try to create the other method, and then at the last we'll try to run it in the coverage mode. So let me try to create the test for the what is the next method. So it is update student by ID. So let me copy this, come here, update student by ID test. Okay, so let me remove this. Let me try to create only a single student and then we'll update that. So let's say student. Okay, so we have created one dummy data. Now what I'm going to do, let me go to the service IMPL. So here what we are going to do, we are just simply finding out that record from the database. Okay, so we will mock that and then we are doing some changes there and then saving it out. So let me come here. So we have created one dummy data. Let me try to mock it out. So let's say find by ID. Let's say the ID is 101 and then return the same student object. Okay, it should be optional, right? So we are good now. Let me try to change something here. So let's say student dot set name. So let me change the name to Naman. Okay, now let me try to save it out. So when student repository dot save student and then it should return the same student object. Okay, so whatever operation we are doing inside the student service IMPL update method, we are performing it here. When the database work is there, we are just mocking it out. Okay, and we have did one changes here. So let me try to compare it out. So the changes we did is we changed the name to the Naman. So let me try to call this update method and then find out the name. So we need to provide the student reference as well as the ID. So let's say it's student and ID, and then we are simply getting the name. So we have updated the name to the Naman, and if it is coming Naman and then comparing it to the Naman, it's return true. Let me try to do. Okay. So yeah, it is passing out. Let me try to change the name to show you how it is failing. So let's say I'm comparing. We have changed the name to Naman, okay, and it is giving this part is giving the name as Naman, and let me try to compare it with some other string. So let's say it's uh, Ram, something like that. Okay, and then let me try to hit it out. So it should fail because the comparison is not working here. It is not equal. So you can see it is failing. Let me come here. Let me show you. So expected is Ram, but actual is Naman. So we are expecting Ram here, but because we have changed it and it is coming as Naman here. So this is how it is looking like. So let me try to revert back to Naman. Okay. So we covered the update as well. Now let me try to cover the delete one. So let's say delete student by ID test. Okay. So we have one student and let me try to remove these things. Coming to the student service, go to the delete. So here in the delete, what we are passing, we are simply passing one string, which is student with ID and then the ID and then got deleted. So let me try to compare with this. So we have created one dummy data. Okay, let me try to compare this. So when we are going to call the delete one, We need to pass this ID, and it is simply returning the one string, which is delete student by ID, or let me try to show you what is the string it is returning. A student with ID this got deleted. So this is the same thing it is returning here, right? So let me try to compare it with one string. So let's say student with ID, and then let me pass out. You can directly pass out the ID here, or you can check it. You can take it from the student reference. So let's say student dot get ID, okay, and then we have simple string called got deleted, okay. Student with ID, and then ID name, sorry, ID, and then got deleted. So let me recheck it. Student with ID this and got deleted. Come to the test. So when we are going to call this one, this method, it should ideally return that string, and we are comparing that string. So if it is matching, then it will return true for us. So let me run this. Okay. So it is passing, right? So we can I showed you how you can create the test method, or how you can use the JUnit and Mockito to carry out your unit test in your application, right? Let me try to run the whole class with the code coverages and show you how it is affecting your code coverage. So so you can see it has passed all the six methods that we have created, and here you can see the code coverage for this class is 100%. Let me go inside it, and you can see we have coveraged every line of code that we have written in this class. So this is the importance of unit test. So it is improving the code quality. Okay, so this is about this video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and please comment me what next you want from my side, and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.